Hello and welcome to A Course in Miracles Help. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to discuss, the book begins with principles of miracles. So there is a good number of them, the most famous being the first one, which we're going to talk about today. And the one today is there is no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They are all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. So I think the best place to start here is to talk about this as relative to that first sentence they said before the course started. So it said, I'm not exactly sure this is the exact wording, but nothing real can be threatened. I gotta run out. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Okay, so nothing real. Let's start with this one. And I'm sorry to do this rather indirectly, but this is going to answer both at the same time. So nothing real can be threatened. So if we're going back to that first slide we showed, let's go back to it now. Nothing real can be threatened. So as if we remembered this world up here, this world doesn't really know of all of this. This is illusion with closed eyes, so its effects are not real. And that's what makes anything that happens in it sort of unimportant. It is important for the discontinuation of this to understand that it has no effect, but that's what the book is about. That's what the reason for the book is. So nothing real in this world can be threatened. And that is a massive statement that will take a while to kind of, its full broadness and full magnitude is going to take a while for us to completely understand. But nothing in this world can change because it is subject to the will of God, which is something that cannot change. And it's consistent. So that's what makes this world not so threatening, is because it's not subject to those laws, and those laws have continued without interruption. So anything that happens in here occurs in time. This is beyond time up here. So anything that occurs in time has no effect. That is massive, because it's saying that basically everything that we predicate our beliefs on about sin cannot be threatened. So it's without effect, therefore it shouldn't be saw as something negative that we should be upset about, that would help create more of this negative film here. Okay, so the second part is nothing unreal exists. None of this is true. None of what is here is true. And I think that's becoming pretty apparent. And herein lies the peace of God. So we can see this world. We know that it has to be remedied in order for this to be acknowledged as what is our true nature in this world, so they can go back to this. But there's no real threat, and there's no real rush. As the book says at the beginning, this is a required course, but when you choose to take it is up to yourself. So you can procrastinate in this world and try to chase a million different dreams and try to have them all pan out for you. But that doesn't mean that they're going to actually make you feel happy. And it kind of makes me remember, I believe his name is C.S. Lewis's quote, and C.S. Lewis said something along the lines of, if this world, there's nothing that makes me happy, it makes me believe I'm meant for another world. And what C.S. was probably referring to was the only way we can be truly happy is to be reunited to this world. So I imagine that idea causes a lot of anxiety in many people, but there's really nothing to be anxious about, as we say here. This will eventually be known as your greatest victory, knowing this, because herein lies the peace of God. Okay, so if we're going to relate that to this, there is no order of difficulty in miracles. We see what's happening on this screen as having mass and different levels of difficulty. There's no harder and bigger, though actually, because it is all a manufacturing of mind. And this sort of mind over matter concept is something that a lot of people, even ones that aren't exactly into some of these more spiritual elements, will actually accept. They'll say mind over matter when you're going through something difficult. Like if you believe that you're going to get better, you will. But this is really essential to understanding how this works, because the screen is a function of mind. This film is not really that important. It just shows what we think is true. So what is matter is the result of what goes through the film. The light is the reality, but what has gone through the film is less important than mind, because mind is the source, if that makes sense. They are all the same. So anything that happens on the screen, if we deal with it at this level, will change. They're all expressions of love are maximal. So an expression of love can be many different things, but all of them, if they're done in the same sort of light as would be reality in here, are done maximally or not at all. There is no holding back of one element. And I give the phrase that I believe before of sort of God gives of himself with infinite generosity. So infinite generosity, and nothing really impedes that. That's just the nature of what he is just to give constantly. And that is his joy, and that is love is this giving freely of yourself. And you might have had an experience of this in the world where you gave something of yourself and had more joy in that moment than maybe any other moment in your life. So these are shadows of this world and the reality of it. And in reality, you're doing that constantly in this world as well. So that's why it seems as closest to your true nature as it actually is. Okay, so I apologize, I'm using this diagram a lot, but I feel that it really is a good way to visualize a lot of these concepts. So I hope that this is all making sense to you, and we will do another principle here rather soon. But for now, I hope you were enjoying and understanding the book as much as possible, and I hope I can help in any way. And again, if you guys have any questions, please direct them to the comment section, and I'll be very happy to answer anything that you would like to be a little more clear. Okay, thank you and good night.